No one else is, unless you count us laughing at your big ass over inflated head missing easy layups and getting 124 me bounce each game. So we missed you. We missed you, Angel. You're back. You're roaring back, and I'm sure you came back and led the Chicago Sky to victory. To see the return of Angel Reese and the defeat of the Chicago Sky against the Storm.
Angel Reese's return was supposed to be a superstar moment, but instead, silence, empty seats, and fans who weren't buying the hype. Imagine walking back into the arena expecting cheers, only to find the stands half empty and the energy ice cold. What happened to all that talk about sellouts and must-see basketball?
Yeah, it holds about 9,500 fans, so we're talking roughly 3,000 fans away from being sold out. We found out yesterday during the day that Angel was coming back, and I was like, wow, I can't wait for this. I mean, it's been a while. Only 6,724 fans showed up to the Wintrust Arena. It's been a while, and I'm sure you came back to a sellout crowd that could not wait to see you.
This wasn't the triumphant comeback everyone promised. It was something else entirely, and it left more questions than answers. So why did the spotlight turn into a spotlight of humiliation instead of celebration? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. If this was supposed to be a sold-out spectacle, why did rows of empty chairs speak louder than the cheers?
It's because she's making all of her layups now. Right? Right? No? That's not right? This is Angel. She's going to be going down the court. Again, she's much improved from the field. She's made so much She said, I'm so happy to be back playing the game that I love. All right.
That's the first thing that hit people when Angel Reese stepped back onto the court. She hadn't played in weeks. Cameras were on her. The hype online had been massive. This was supposed to be the night she reminded everyone why she's been called one of the faces of the league. But when the camera panned out across the arena, it didn't show thousands of screaming, energized fans. Instead, there were long rows of gray seats, patches of space that made the cheers sound thinner than they should have.
Oh, wow. 69%. 19.7 boards, of which only 3 were offensive rebounds. Angel Reese is the most blocked player in the WNBA, and believe it or not, I believe that's a real stat. I don't think that's Brick Center just clowning. I think
the disconnect between what people thought was coming and what actually happened was almost jarring. You could see how much pressure was on Reese the moment she walked onto the floor. She had been out, talked about constantly, treated like a storyline bigger than the game itself. Everyone was thinking, okay, now's the time. Let's see her put on a show. But here's the problem. If Wintrust Arena can fit over 9,500 people and only about 6,700 showed up, that's not nothing. That kind of gap stands out in a place that thrives on noise, electricity, even the smallest moments of momentum. Instead, it almost felt like people in the crowd were watching out of obligation rather than celebration.
Roaches infested LSU dorms. It would never happen at Iowa. Woo-wee! Just a mere 3,000 people short of selling out the arena.
The numbers on paper already made the atmosphere feel flat, but you could feel the energy gap even more through the broadcast. And when you remember the way social media pumped this game up, that contradiction feels heavier. Scroll back a week earlier and you'd think this was going to be standing room only. Posts were hyping her return, pages were calling it a must-see event, and memes made it seem like tickets were flying off the shelf. Fans online were typing like it was the second coming. But once the actual night arrived, a lot of that energy stayed on people's timelines instead of in the seats. It was all noise on apps. And when reality kicked in, You had an arena that looked more half-invested than fully locked in. Then there's her back injury.
Funny, a lot of questions going on out there around Angel the last month or so.
I think she's quit on this season. I think this is a worse version than Kawhi Leonard. I think she's using her back as an excuse.
Like, what in the bleep is going on? Exactly. Why aren't you playing in games? We heard it was a back injury. The triumphant return of the product herself, Angel Reese.
The story behind it has its own cloud. Was it serious? Was it minor? Or was it just a way to step away from the spotlight until things cooled? Nobody really got a clear answer, and that's why people are side-eyeing her return so hard. The mystery around what she was going through only made people question whether this comeback was even legit or just another piece of the branding puzzle. Fans want transparency. They want to know what their star is actually fighting through. When that's missing, when the explanation feels vague, the skepticism grows louder than the applause. The arena itself made that contradiction even more obvious. Picture it: the lights, the banners, the highlight reels of Angel Reese's name glowing everywhere. The merchandise lined up to push her identity as that player. There was glitter in the promos, hype in the ad spots, big words about dominance and leadership. But then you look down from all the branding and you see fans sitting in silence, kids on their phones, and whole sections not even filled. The energy was cold, like the branding spoke louder than the actual excitement happening live. It's even starker when you put that moment side by side with Caitlin Clark, who has been consistently filling arenas across the league. Clark comes in and you see ticket after ticket snapped up, with some games hitting complete sellouts before opening tip. That's tangible, measurable impact. Reese had the cameras and the marketing strategy, but the audience wasn't rushing through the doors the same way. One could say Clark has turned herself into proof of concept, and Reese was being treated more like a tagline that doesn't quite have the sales to match up.
It's a shame you suck so bad. Bro, y'all lost. I mean, it was literally only 3,000 fans away from being standing room only.
And fans noticed how tickets for Reese's big return weren't flying at high prices either. Word spread about cheap seats going for just a few bucks online, some as low as $3. That's the kind of number that starts a whole other conversation, because if a historic comeback can't even push resale prices higher than a fast food meal, it makes people wonder whether the hype is authentic or just artificially manufactured. When the most talked about game in weeks can be entered for pocket change, the support starts feeling more like filler than true loyalty. That's why those empty chairs weren't just random no-shows. They were symbolic. They became a quiet verdict from the fan base. It wasn't just about who was injured or who was suiting up. It became about whether Reese has proven herself to be a real star capable of pulling fans into the building, or just a celebrity with more headline moments than defining games. And the message that night was pretty blunt. Because if you're looking for a model of what real career building looks like, everyone's eyes already know where to turn. And that's Caitlin Clark, the player who keeps showing up, filling arenas, and turning hype into undeniable proof on the scoreboard and in the stands. What Angel Reese faced on her comeback night wasn't just an empty arena, it was a wake-up call. It felt less like fans missed the game and more like they were testing if hype can carry someone without consistent dominance. That's the bigger question sitting on her career right now.
Now try to make a layup. Good luck with the layups. Welcome back, Reese. So pretty. And just like clockwork, Angel comes back, Cardoso's numbers go down.
So I want to hear from you. Do you think Reese has what it takes to step up and lead on the court? Or has her brand already hit its ceiling? Because maybe WNBA stardom always comes down to one thing. Are you building a career or just a brand?